On this episode of the High Not to Laugh podcast, we're going to talk about weird 80s and 90s movies that couldn't exist now, like they had to be done then.
And I'm High.
Welcome to the Potcast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Craig. I am the father of my co-host.
And I'm Jason.
What?
You're not doing that anymore?
Oh, I forgot. I didn't prepare. Okay.
And I'm High.
I will call you this week the Vision to my Wanda.
Okay.
How's that?
Alright.
Since he was just off air talking about Marvel.
Sometimes I am imaginary.
Anyway, all right, so we're going to talk about some weird 80s and 90s movies that, I mean, they're a thing of their time. Like, there's weird stuff that happens now that are a thing that could only happen now, but these are very specific. And I got 10 of them we can talk about. One that I don't think you've heard of, and you've definitely seen some. The Jerky Boys movie, which is available for free with commercials if you watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep. Here's what I will tell you. It's the story of there's people that made prank calls and recorded them and put out cassettes. That's what they said we should make a movie out of.
Well, I mean, the Impractical Joker's got a movie.
Well, what they did was a little different for the movie. They accidentally pranked the local mob boss.
Oh, good.
And then he had to decide, are these guys really tough or do I end them? And it's them running for their lives.
As they aren't the machine.
Yeah. That's the premise, is they're basically trying to outwit the mob after prank calling them.
Well, I mean, overwhelmingly, that's not a good idea.
No, it's not something I would do.
That's, it's a really bad idea.
Yeah, I've seen enough Sopranos to go, yeah, you know what you don't do to those guys?
Anything.
Anger them.
Anything.
The second one is the Garbage Pail Kids movie.
Yeah, that exists.
A collection of stickers from the Topps Bubblegum Company. The same people that made Topps baseball cards and basketball and football made stickers that all they were a parody of Cabbage Patch Kids. Yeah. And someone said, well, that should be a movie. So they had to come up with, where did they come from? So, of course, they're aliens.
Yeah.
Yes. It was an odd... They lived in a trash can, but it was kind of like Santa's bag, or any of those, the TARDIS, where it's bigger on the inside because...
Why would I make that reference? I've never watched an episode of that show.
But you know what it is.
Yes. So magic space aliens that are actually like 3 foot tall.
And they're really good at sewing clothes, so they help a guy try to get a girl who wants to be a seamstress from the punk boyfriend by helping him make clothes.
I thought this was an old guy that found them.
Yes, but there was a kid involved that they're trying to... Here's the thing. It's almost like they just took a bunch of words and just threw darts at them and said, this is the script.
Yeah.
I mean, really. Or as South Park would have put it, it was like...
These are manatee jokes.
These are manatee... Like, it was a manatee script.
Right.
It wasn't even jokes. It was just, seriously, here's our plot.
Yeah. Booger children, monster, space alien creatures came here to help a man...
Help a kid
get a girl because of clothing.
The next one is probably the best Marvel movie ever to exist in the history of Marvel movies. It's a classic. Without it, the MCU would be nothing.
Oh, I see what
George
you're
Lucas.
doing.
Speaking
That
of
doesn't
another
mean
connection,
anything.
the man who created Star Wars, owned by Disney, did a Marvel movie, which is now owned by Disney, and he put out the gem called Howard the Duck.
Yes. See.
All I gotta say is, duck boobs. If you
that's 2 thumbs down. Thank you, Siskel and Ebert.
No. If you don't realize how badly you need duck boobies in your life, watch this and you're gonna realize how empty your life was prior to seeing this.
It's one of those it'll live in your brain forever and you can't possibly rot it out. No. Now, yes, this movie was fun upon a rewatch. But it had to be a rewatch. Because if you ever go into this movie thinking, I'm going to watch a movie,
honestly,
you're mistaken.
To do it right, they needed to do an R-rated movie. And this was at a time when Marvel didn't do movies. The closest thing they had at the time were made-for-TV episodes of...
Like extended episodes of, like, The Hulk.
And Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
where he swung on, like, twine.
Yeah. And he was a emissary from hell.
No.
According to his own words in the Japanese version, yes.
Okay, I'm not talking about the Japanese version that wasn't, like, had no creative control from Marvel.
I'm going to say that one counts if this movie counts.
No, this one counts because it was a big budget failure, but can't really call it.
Huge failure.
All right. But again, very much 80s.
It's fun, but it's dumb. It's stupid.
Very fun.
It's ridiculous. It's over the top.
It started the MCU. You are welcome.
It did not. Blade started the MCU.
It did not.
Without Blade, we wouldn't have been where we are.
No, without Blade, I have to say, and, we'll go off script a little bit because there's no script.
Yeah.
I've always thought it was funny when, Black Panther was coming out and they're like, it's the first... black superhero, and I was like, "What about Blade?" And then
what
it's
about
like,
Blank Man?
Sure, but not DC or Marvel.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying, and then the other thing was the R-rated thing with Deadpool. It's like, oh look, they're making it R-rated, and I was like, again, Blade.
And Deadpool wasn't even the second Marvel-related thing that was R-rated. Because, obviously Blade 2, Blade 3.
One of the Punishers was, right?
All of the Punishers were.
I thought one was PG-13. I think one of them was.
I don't remember that.
I'm not 100%.
There was a Man-Thing movie in 2005.
I'm more of a DC guy, because I grew up when DC made good movies, like Superman. Like the
all the way back
Superman.
in the 70s.
It was actually a quality film,
yes,
but
though. That's as long as you have to go back
like
to
people
find
that didn't
DC
care.
Movies.
I'm not talking DCEU.
No.
I grew up in the 80s when it was better to be a fan of DC.
They had a hit since I've been born, and it was like in 2008.
Let's see. The next one. A group of aliens come to terrorize a town with popcorn guns and turning you into candy, like, what do you call it? Cotton candy.
Yep, cocoons.
Cocoons. Because they are aliens that are also killer clowns from outer space.
Killer clowns, huh?
This movie... we love this type of movie. We
love this movie.
We have another channel where we talk nothing but horror movies, and we did this one for like a April.
I think we might have just done this one.
No, I think we did it as an April, because at
the
beginning of every April we usually do a funnier horror related thing.
Yeah.
But you'll know from if you watch that. It's called Gory Story Time. Go check out that channel if you like what you hear here, where it's strictly horror related stuff. But anyway. We love the really cheesy,
over the top, dumb,
killer
funny,
tomatoes,
bad special effects, terribly great acting,
evil bong type stuff, low budget.
We just watched Night of the, I don't know, it was like an alien zombie movie with weird leeches.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know what you're talking about.
That was one of them.
Yeah, we love those weird, not great acting. The plot doesn't really make sense. Over the top gore usually.
And you know where you found the most of those? The 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, because VHS rentals were so big, they would make really schlocky ones just to line the shelves in your horror section.
Yeah.
The next one I got, speaking of schlocky movies that I love, The Toxic Avenger. A nerd gets thrown into a big
vat of poisonous
toxic
goo?
waste. It was toxic waste. He gets dumped in it because it was New Jersey, so they were just laying around, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, that was...
I mean, if you've seen Jason Takes Manhattan, you know what's in the sewers.
Yeah,
They just collect that.
You know
and put
that's
it in
not New
drums.
Jersey, right?
No. New Jersey's like their neighbor.
Oh, so you think the sewers were ruined by the Jerseyites?
Yeah.
You hear that, Kevin Smith? He's talking about your people. Anyway...
No, I'm just talking about the jocks in this movie.
Well, it's... And then he turns into this hulking giant, and they're remaking it, or remade it, and it's... is it out yet?
I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
It's got, what's his name in it? The short guy from...
Dinklage.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage is in it. Short guy. I was trying to think of the correct term to not be offensive. And it's like, little person, but to me, that always sounds like you're actually being mean. It's like, oh, look, you're like a person, but smaller. Like, little person seems rude. But if that's what people prefer to be called, whatever. But
I'm going to call him Peter Dinklage.
I mean, there's that. Like, he's...
I don't know. In one of my favorite movies, he
you
was
could
a
say
giant.
he's big enough to be what he wants to be. As far as, star power he is.
I mean, he sleeps on a bed made out of money, so...
I doubt that.
I don't think you're right. I think I'm right.
Do you mean like a band of ones?
Thought we weren't going there.
Anyway, the next one I'm going to talk about, there was a toy line that I loved as a kid about a man who wore basically hairy underwear and no shirt and went around riding a tiger and kicking a skeleton's butt.
Oh.
And then they his
it's like, no.
Bottom part is hairy. The underwear, that's what
Whatever.
I said. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. The Masters of the Universe is the movie where they got Dolph Lundgren to play something.
He was the Suburban Commando.
They were like, hey, you know how this all takes place on another planet? Nope, let's make it
Turns
Earth.
out it's not in our budget to shoot on another planet.
Sure. What was some of the other things? It's like, oh, you know how there's that character Orko that people are going to be like, ooh, I want to see him? Let's not have him because we don't have the budget. But you know what we can do? Make up a completely new character that's basically the Temu version and do that. Why? Did it really? You already paid for the rights. It didn't cost more for Orko. You could have had it just be the character that it was. It was very odd choices they were making.
Which, by the way, this was a canon film.
It was a canon film.
And only canon films could have existed at this time.
And by that, if you don't know what canon films is, we don't mean it's canon to the show. We mean there's a company called Canon, and they have some fabulous things on there.
Made a lot of stuff.
If you like those, men just kicking people's butts because they're officially a good guy and other people are a bad guy.
The Chuck Norris movies.
I mean, a lot of them.
And
Van Damme.
The Stallone movies.
A lot of them.
A Superman movie.
Now, what's less interesting than that? What if a really popular video game series was about to have its third entry come out? So they said, let's film an entire movie about this video game, not the game itself, but about people who are gamers in the 90s, which is before they called them gamers. And
The Wizard?
The Wizard.
The Wizard. Okay.
The entire thing was a 90-minute advertisement for Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yes.
That's all it was. And
the glove.
And they get...
Because that was the first appearance of the glove.
But they also gave away a couple of codes and stuff in the movie for you to play at home because this was released first. It was literally an ad for it.
I have seen
starring Fred Savage.
Reviews of this movie, and
you've not seen it though.
I have not seen this movie.
Okay.
Everything I've heard is that there's no such thing as a plot.
I mean, they're going to a big expo.
Con, right? Like they're going to like gaming con or whatever, an expo,
to get a chance to play it before it comes out.
right?
That's the plot.
And one of the reviews I watched made it sound like they kind of kept it a secret in the movie that it was Mario, that they didn't keep saying it, and that it was a reveal once they showed up.
I mean, all of the ads made it clear that it was,
which makes sense.
Let's see. This one I don't know that you would have heard of. Rhinestone.
I've heard the word.
Well, here's what Rhinestone was.
Is that Stallone?
It is Stallone. Do you recognize her?
I can't sing anything.
That's Dolly Parton.
Why?
Because he...
Are they arm wrestling?
No, he decided he's going to be a country singer in
No.
New York. He grew up in New York City in this, and he's going to be a country singer. So Dolly Parton playing someone else helps him live his dream of...
So this is Rambo, but instead of a fight, he's training with Dolly Parton to be a good singer?
Okay, first of all, he didn't have to train in Rambo. That's really weird.
Not Rambo.
You meant
Rocky.
No. Oh, and by the way, I believe he does his own singing.
Oh, good.
Sure.
What's his musical name? Is it Rhinestone? The Italian Stallion?
No, the Italian Stallion was something he was in prior to becoming famous over here and stuff. That was like...
No, I know. I was making the joke. We don't have to elaborate.
The next movie on the list is What If the Muppets Were Evil?
Oh, wait.
In Meet the Feebles.
Yes, the Feebles.
That hippo is basically their version of Miss Piggy. She's super violent. It's R-rated. Oh, and do you know who filmed this movie? Who the director was?
No.
Do you know who filmed the Hobbit movies?
No.
The Lord of the Rings movies? You don't know who the...
Peter Jackson?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'm guessing you're trying to get at that was him too?
Yeah.
Okay.
He got his start doing this. And then you look at that and you
All right,
look
let's
at...
rewind 10 seconds and pretend I care about the Lord of the Rings. Oh, you mean Peter Jackson, the guy from the Lord of the Rings?
I mean, the guy who got many, many awards for his...
Bad walking movies? Yeah, I know.
I
anyway,
didn't like
the
the
Feebles.
movies either, but basically it's just behind the scenes of a Muppet Show type show where they basically hate each other. They're trying to kill each other. It's like the Muppet or the
Happy
Puppet
Time Murders?
Yeah, that's it. Only this was before it and way more vulgar.
I liked it.
Way
I liked
more
the one I saw. I haven't
you
seen
see
The
this?
Feebles yet.
No, you should. I like it way better. It is not a good movie. It's a fun movie to the point where I know your sense of your sensibility. That's the word I should use. What?
No, continue. I don't know what you're about to say.
For movies, I know I know your
Yeah.
area.
My sense of humor?
Sense of humor, and even the stuff
Kind of
that's not
action and
fun.
stuff I like.
Yeah, I know, even if it's stuff that I don't like, I know the stuff that usually tickles your funny bone and interest.
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely Meet the Feebles is one that you should watch. And the last one that's definitely only in the 80s, and there were multiple movies with this topic. There was this big dance craze, which is also popular in the Olympics this year.
Oh, no.
They did a movie called Breakin'. Guess what it was about?
Breakin'? It's a breakdance movie.
That's exactly what it was. And this was when Canon Films was splitting up, and there was the guy's brother tried to also make, I believe, either that or there was another company. I don't know. They were rushing to be the first ones to
do
get
a breakdance movie?
Yes.
At the same time?
And they did that with movies, but I think this was when they were still together. I actually think I misspoke. But they were going against another company that was trying to slap together a breakdancing movie. And both of them are popular in hip hop culture. Honestly, they really are. Then they did a sequel you might have heard of called
Electric Boogaloo?
It was Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
You've heard the name. Whenever you want to make fun of a bad movie, you always make the joke is, I don't know, like, what's a movie that you think is crap?
Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Was most recent.
It'd be like Lord of the Rings 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Right.
You know, which
or like
would make that a much more interesting walk.
I would watch that movie. What if they're just breakdancing every 10 seconds?
So those are the 10 that I thought of where it's just like, no one would make that now. Now, if they did it, the breakdancing movie, it would be the heartwarming story of the woman from Australia who had her dreams dashed by getting all zeros at the.
Did she get all zeros?
Oh yeah,
Good.
She scored 0 points for that. But anyway, so out of the 10, just tell me if you saw it, if you like it, or if you think you should see it. Okay? I know some of them, but just for them. The Jerky Boys movie.
Haven't seen it, have heard of it, want to watch it.
Okay. The Garbage Pail Kids movie.
Have seen it. Apparently I loved it when I was younger, and I regret that.
Well, Howard the Duck.
I've seen it.
You liked it better the second time?
Because I didn't go into it thinking, oh, this is going to be a Howard the Duck movie. I went into it thinking, oh, this is going to be a stupid movie about a duck from another universe.
Which is what Howard the Duck was.
But he's an R-rated drinking, murdering guy.
Well, yeah, he wasn't necessarily a good guy. Killer Clowns, I know your answer to this. But
love that movie. Absolutely love it.
I mean, it's...
Like 10 out of 10, love that movie.
It's probably in his, top 100. I wouldn't say top 10.
I mean, that's so difficult, but yeah.
But, like, that covers many genres.
Yeah.
But it's probably in there. We tried to start this not that long... Toxic Avenger, before we get to that.
Oh, I liked the first one.
Yeah, and there are sequels, which you probably
There
ought
are
to see.
sequels, and there is a series, and I liked the first one.
And you haven't seen the sequels, right?
I saw the second one.
Did you? And you didn't like it?
I mean,
Thought you
it was
had...
fine.
Anyway, but Masters of the Universe, we really tried when I bought that box set of Canon films.
Like a half hour in?
Yeah. I will say, the guy who
goodness.
played Skeletor, he was acting his butt off.
His face?
Anyway, but outside of that, that movie was just...
Yeah, we traded up and watched The
bad.
Suburban Commando, and that is awesome.
Another one that was like a 90...
And it could have only been made with Hulk Hogan
at
in that time by those people exactly the way
Wizard.
it was.
I know you said you haven't seen it.
I want to see that movie
do
so
wanna see
bad.
it?
I mean, it's not going to be one that I want to watch because it's going to be good, but I want to see it.
Rhinestone. What do you think of the idea of Sylvester Stallone learning to be a country star?
I'm probably going to forget that exists by the end of this episode. By the time I get
Purposely?
home,
You're gonna
and
try?
I'll be fine without never remembering.
Meet the Feebles.
I want to see it.
Okay. And Breakin'.
I don't want to see it.
No?
No, I have no interest in movies that are about dancing. Any dancing. I don't
There's
like...
more to it than that,
I don't
but-
like the dumb, don't put baby in a corner movie. I don't like the, I'm going to splash myself around in water because dancing's illegal, all right? I don't
that's a
care.
different thing,
Like,
but-
Patrick Swayze can rip all the throats out he wants, and I'm never going to watch him dance.
Those are different films, but okay. All right, and that was the list. So, as always, it's 420 somewhere.